Hey, I'm going to be teaching you about bursting for most of the guns in Rust. So, this works for the pattern system and the aim cone system, although it's probably going to be changed soon with the aim cone guns, moving over to the patterns. And basically with bursting, you're going to be abusing the pattern reset, and with the pattern reset is when, it's basically when your pattern resets. It's pretty self-explanatory, and how often the pattern resets is dependent on how fast your weapon fires. So an MP5 compared to the AK is going to reset pretty much faster than the AK. So for the AK, not everyone's going to be able to control the spray perfectly. Like, as soon as it goes past the 6 bullet mark, it gets harder. So 5 to 4 bullets is great to burst at a time. So at these targets, this is 40 meters by the way, you'll usually just want to be always bursting or always spraying at this distance. So I hit a pretty good amount of shots there, although those are still targets. But I'm probably going to be missing more shots. I'll try and control the spray as best as I can. Yes, you're way less efficient with bullets. Although in some cases spraying is better, it really depends on the situation though. So how often that the AK resets with this pattern system is pretty much like that. You get used to it with the rhythm after a while. The LR has the same firing speed, however it's a bit different. So it's more horizontal at the beginning. It only goes in the right and up, but you're able to fire a few more shots before it starts to get harder. So around 6 to 7 is pretty good. Then there's the MP5, which is pretty good for spraying. It's a bit hard to use though, and the reason why is because it fires extremely fast, and its pattern is it's easier at the end, although it jumps up really quickly. So the 5 bullets is how much you really want to burst for the MP5. It's much easier compared to trying to spray, especially with how fast this gun shoots. It's way too hard. So now we move on to the lower tier guns, which do not have a pattern yet, except for the semi-pistol, but that's not used as often as these. So there's not really a pattern to these, you just move down. However, I found it to be a lot more effective to be shooting in bursts of 3 to 4, then readjusting my mouse and then shooting then. I found it to be a lot more effective than trying to spray, and it's faster than trying to tap and realign your aim for every shot. And you can choose to sort of burst with the Python if you want. It's really hard though, because not only does it have very quick and jumpy recoil, but there's also the fact that it's only got 6 shots, and you usually want to spend them wisely, because the reloading time is always something you have to be worried about. So usually, unless you're up close, you're going to be tapping, but it's possible to burst with them. Although I usually never do it. I don't advise doing it. So the revolver, it's you pretty much just always burst or spray with this because of how easy the recoil is. It's barely got any. don't use this gun very much though. So when it gets to the 100-meter mark, this is really when you want to try and have a better aim or use your ammo more efficiently. So with the AK, it's still possible to shoot in bursts of 3. However, it's gonna be harder, not only because the targets are smaller, but there's also the bullet drop and the targets moving. But it's still possible. It's pretty much just a spray and pray whenever you're bursting, especially at long ranges. Yeah, you can tap as well, although sometimes it is much better to be bursting. I've usually found that to do much better than tapping, as tapping is just too slow for the current meta at the time being. It's harder with the LR because the LR has a slower projectile speed. So that's the LR. It is possible with the MP5 as well, but it's an SMG, so you're not supposed to be really using it at a long range. But occasionally you can get a good amount of hits. For the semi-rifle, you won't want to be bursting at this range. It's pretty much just tapping. It's the same thing through Python and the revolver as well. So you can choose to spray at this distance if you want. Some people do it pretty well, although not only is there going to be some aim cone, but it's also going to be pretty hard trying to control the harder recoil. It just gets harder as it progresses when you're shooting. But the bursting is a very effective method of using almost all the guns, and I advise that you always consider it whenever you're PvPing. It's more efficient on ammo than spraying at times, and it can work better than tapping. I hope this helps. Have fun.